My friends, this is a great time to become a channel member. Every week now I'm posting uncensored videos exclusively for my channel members, along with custom emojis and live streams from members at the Arch-Villain level where you get to talk to me directly. Please consider supporting this channel by clicking the link in the video description and joining us in our fight to save pop culture. And also, check out our Patreon and Subscribestar pages for exclusive content you won't find anywhere else, including Harvey Cthulhu's insane podcasts, photos of my vast toy collection, and members at the Legionnaire level receive a signed photo, membership card, and certificate signed by me. You'll find the Patreon link in the video description as well. Thanks for watching, my friends, and now on to the video. My friends, just when you think Disney couldn't screw the proverbial pooch any worse than they already had with their catastrophically failed and universally reviled, dead-eyed, charmless remake of Snow White, Mickey, by God, rolls up his non-existent sleeves, claps his gloved hands together, pulls down his pants, bends over, and says,
"Ha ha, thank you, sir. May I have another? Ha ha."
Mickey asked for more pain, and he sure did get it this weekend, my friends, when Disney decided to re-release Snow Woke and the 7 former Nirvana tribute band members into theaters. You know, Disney has made a shitload of awful decisions over the past 10 years, but this one really borders on sheer insanity, my friends, when you consider just how badly Snow Woke performed in its initial release. I'm going to explain very plainly just how bad this last weekend actually was for Disney in just a moment with the help of OmniVac. But to really appreciate just how Lovecraftianly insane this re-release was, let's very clearly review just how horribly Snow Woke bombed this past year. Some sources suggest it may not even reach 200 million globally, a far cry from the $500 to $700 million needed to break even. To break even, ladies and gentlemen. The film's production budget was reported to be between 240 and 270 million, with some estimates as high as 370 million due to delays, reshoots, and a fire on the UK set. Marketing and distribution costs added roughly 111 million to 140 million, bringing total expenses to approximately 410 million. Snow White's box office failure is marked by its inability to reach even $225 million globally against a $410 million cost, resulting in an estimated $115 to $200 million loss for Disney. This makes it one of the studio's biggest recent flops, comparable to the Marvels or Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny. The combination of poor critical reception, audience alienation from controversies, remake fatigue, and a challenging theatrical market sealed its fate.
And yet Disney decided to tempt fate yet again this past weekend. Apparently, someone inside the Disney marketing department was watching a little too much Terminator 2 and took the whole no fate but what we make bullshit a little too much to heart. Disney decided the audience had made a mistake rejecting Snow Woke the first time round and said, let's make a better fate for Snow Woke. We'll re-release it on Mother's Day.
What a maroon. What a maroon indeed, OmniVac. Despite Rachel Zegler's Snow Woke being a DOA disaster in its original release, some marketing genius at Disney who presumably hates mothers and the very concept of motherhood decided, I know, let's re-release one of the biggest bombs in Disney history in theaters on Mother's Day. Yeah, because, you know, nothing passive-aggressively says, I hate you, Mom, but I'm too chicken shit to tell you that face-to-face, than ruining her special day by taking her to this cringy, whiny piece of shit-soaked trash on Mother's Day and letting her figure out how you feel about her for herself. Well, bad idea, Disney. Real bad idea. Spectacularly bad idea, because this final humiliation is absolutely mind-boggling. World of Reels sums it up succinctly with the headline, Snow White re-release tanks with 210,000 in 1,300 plus theaters. And in that article, they break it down to its nakedly humiliating bottom line, quote, "It was never a smart move on Disney's part to re-release Snow White this weekend on over 1,300 screens. The receipts are in, and Snow White tanked, grossing just over $200,000, a per-theater average of only $50, unquote."
Excuse me, I beg your pardon. I don't think I heard that right. On average, each theater, dumb enough to book one of the biggest bombs in Disney history, made only $50?
That is correct, sir.
Wait, let me get this straight. That's not $50 a screening. You're talking $50 over all the screenings? Over the entire Mother's Day weekend?
Yep. Which basically means that out of all the screenings over the weekend, let's say maybe 4 a day conservatively, it was probably more, over 3 days, 2 or 3 days possibly, so maybe 8 to 12 screenings per theater total. Maybe 3 to 4 people showed up. Omnivac, how many people is that on average per screening?
Assuming 8 screenings, if 4 people showed up total, that would mean there was on average 1/2 of a person per theater per screening. Assuming 12 screenings, that would mean on average 1/3 of a person per screening.
Oh, holy crap. That would get messy, dude. 1/3 of a person. Unless they sliced him with a lightsaber to staunch any issues with bleeding. You know, I think the technical term for this kind of theatrical performance is a blizzard of pure shit-coated shit served on a bed of shit. I think that term was coined by Forbes back during the Great Depression.
Well, Harvey Cthulhu, I suspect Disney is suffering an even greater depression today reviewing these numbers. Of course, they must have suspected this, right? I mean, this must have been a Mother's Day joke. They didn't seriously expect this to do better, did they? Well, my friends, just when the memory of Snow Woke's failure was fading from the minds of the public, Disney reminds us one more time of how badly this soulless, dead-eyed, synthetic remake of a classic bombed. There's only one thing that might have saved Snow White in its re-release, and that's a laugh track. Turn this thing into a sitcom, or, at the very least, a shitcom. From the center of the earth, this is Dictor Van Doomcock bidding you all, my friends, stay angry. Ha 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 ha